Page 3. Exercise C. Photo story. Read and listen to a conversation between two participants at the meeting in Bangkok.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Teresa Segovia from the Santiago office. Sabatica.
Where did you learn the Y? You're Chilean, aren't you?
Yes, I am, but I have a friend in Chile from Thailand.
Well, sawadee ka. Nice to meet you, Miss Segovia. I'm Surat Likpai.
No need to be so formal. Please call me Terry.
And please, call me Surat.
Okay. Surat, do you mind my asking you a question about that, though?
Not at all.
Is it customary in Thailand for people to be on a first-name basis?
Well, at company meetings in English, always. In other situations, though, people tend to be a little more formal. It's probably best to watch what others do. You know what they say, when in Rome...
Do as the Romans do.
Page 4. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to two people meeting and making small talk.
Good morning. Beautiful day, isn't it?
It really is. By the way, I'm Kazuko Toshinaga.
I'm Jane Quitt. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Do you mind if I call you Kazuko?
Absolutely not. Please do.
And please call me Jane.
Ways to ask about proper address.
Do you mind if I call you Kazuko? Would it be rude to call you Kazuko? What would you like to be called? How do you prefer to be addressed? Do you use Ms. or Mrs.?
Page 5. Pronunciation. Exercise A. Rising and falling intonation of tag questions. Exercise A. Rising intonation usually indicates that the speaker is confirming the correctness of information. Read and listen. Exercise B. Falling intonation usually indicates that the speaker expects the listener to agree. Read and listen. 1.
People use first names here, don't they?
People use first names here, don't they?
2.
That meeting was great, wasn't it?
That meeting was great, wasn't it?
3.
It's a beautiful day for a walk, isn't it?
It's a beautiful day for a walk, isn't it?
Page 7. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone describing a busy schedule.
So how was your day?
Unbelievably busy. By 9 o'clock, I had taken the placement test, registered for class, and bought my books.
That's a lot to do before 9.
That was nothing. At 10, I had a meeting across town. But by 1, I had already arrived back at school for my class.
What did you do about lunch?
Well, when I got to class, I hadn't eaten yet, so I just got a snack.
Wow. I'll bet you're pretty hungry now.
Intensifiers.
Unbelievably. Incredibly. Really. So. Pretty.
Page 8. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary. Manners and etiquette. Read and listen.
Etiquette.
Cultural literacy.
Table manners.
Punctuality.
Impolite.
Offensive.
Customary.
Taboo.
Page 8. Listening comprehension. Exercise A. Listen for main ideas. Look at the subjects on the chart. Listen to 3 calls from a radio show. Check the subjects that are discussed during each call. Exercise B. Summarize. Listen again. On a separate sheet of paper, take notes about the calls. Then, with a partner, write a summary of each call. Use the vocabulary. Call 1. Arturo and Jetrine.
Good morning, world. This is Millicent McKay in Brussels with today's Worldwide Cultural Literacy Update. If you're new to the program, here's the format. In the studio, 3 people take your phone calls and answer your questions about etiquette in their countries. Today's guests are Jetrine from Thailand, Nadia from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, and Sujit from Nepal. We're all first name here, so let me welcome Jetrine, Nadia, and Sujit.
Sawadee krap, Millicent. Good morning. I'm Jetrine from Thailand.
Hello, it's nice to be with you. I'm Nadia from Dubai.
And good morning, Millicent, Jetrine and Nadia. Sujit here from Nepal.
Okay, let's get started. I see our first caller is on the line. Hello, Arturo from Montevideo. You're on the air.
Good morning. Actually, good evening. It's 10:30 at night here in Montevideo. But here's my question. I'm traveling on business to Thailand next month, and I'll be working with Thai business managers from my company. What should I know?
Hello, Arturo. Jetrine here. Just a couple of things. First, a taboo. Don't touch anyone's head, not even a child's.
Well, I don't ordinarily touch people's heads, but if you don't mind my asking, what's wrong with touching someone's head?
Well, we believe the head is where the person's soul lives, so it's very disrespectful and offensive to touch a person's head.
Any other tips?
Well, when you are seated, be sure not to cross your legs in such a way that others can see the bottom of your foot.
Actually, I knew that. But don't worry, it's good to be reminded. I do have one more specific question before I hang up.
Sure. What's that?
In Uruguay, it's customary to shake hands, and I know Thai people greet each other with a Y. Will it seem impolite for a foreigner to do the Y? And what happens if I don't do it right? Will that be offensive?
Absolutely not. Just put the palms of your hands together on your chest and bow slightly. Say Sawadee krap. For the women listening, you say Sawadee ka. You will warm our hearts with that. Don't worry if you don't do it exactly the way Thais do it, and don't worry about the pronunciation. Have a wonderful trip to Thailand. Try to do some sightseeing and taste our wonderful food.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jetrine and Arturo, for a good lesson in cultural literacy. Let's take a break and then another call.
Call 2. Hiroko and Nadia.
Welcome back, listeners. This is Millicent McKay with a worldwide town meeting answering all your questions about do's and taboos around the world. Let's say hello to Hiroko from Osaka, Japan. Hiroko, you're on the air.
Thank you, Millicent. My husband and I are going to Dubai. He's a banker and has business there, but I'm going with him as a tourist. I'm very interested in all kinds of culture, and I understand Dubai is very different from Japan. I have 3 questions.
Hello, Hiroko. Nadia on the line.
Thanks, Nadia. If I'm alone, can I walk on the street or drive a car? When we went to Saudi Arabia, women were not permitted to go out alone or drive.
Absolutely. As a woman traveler, you will have no difficulty getting around, even if you are alone. You can drive, and as long as you dress modestly, you can wear whatever you like.
Second question. I don't speak any Arabic.
Again, no problem. As you know, Arabic is the official language of Dubai, but English is commonly used in tourism and commerce.
You speak very good English, Nadia. Where did you learn it?
I actually am an English teacher. I learned my English in the United States, at the University of Wisconsin.
And my last question. I'm an amateur photographer. Will I be able to take pictures in Dubai?
Well, yes, but you should know that it is considered offensive to take pictures of Muslim women here.
Oh, I'm glad I asked. What about pictures of men?
Well, yes, just be sure to ask permission.
I don't know how to thank you. I'm really looking forward to the trip.
We'll be right back with our final call.
Call 3. Javier and Sujit.
I think we have time for one more caller. Javier from Mexico City, welcome to the show. How can we help you?
I'm going to Nepal next month on an international trek. I will be staying with a Nepalese family for a weekend, and I want to be sure I don't offend anyone. Mexico is very different from Nepal.
Well, let's ask Sujit to comment.
Hi, Javier. Let's talk about table manners. First of all, Nepalese don't usually use spoons, forks, or knives.
No? So how do the people eat? How will I eat?
Well, your host will eat with their right hand, never the left hand, but I'm sure they'll provide you with spoons and forks. If they're welcoming foreigners into their home, they'll want you to be comfortable. But remember one important taboo. Beef is strictly forbidden as a food in both Hindu and Buddhist homes. Our typical food, however, is wonderful and very flavorful and healthy.
That's great, because I'm Mexican, and we have great food in Mexico too. I love good food when I travel. Sujit, I'm very interested in culture, but I don't know much about Hinduism and Buddhism. What can you tell me?
Well, if you visit a Hindu temple or a Buddhist shrine, you must remove your shoes, or if you prefer, you can wear open sandals. Check first. In some Hindu temples, non-Hindus can't enter. And very important, don't take leather things near the temple. And if you want to take a picture, be sure to ask before using your camera.
Thanks so much. I feel very prepared now.
My pleasure.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Until next time, this is Millicent McKay in Brussels, reminding you that in today's world, cultural literacy is an essential survival skill.
Page 10. Reading.
Today, Global Culture is interviewing Eugenia Hartley of Jackson, Mississippi in the U.S. about changes to culture. Ms. Hartley, culture has changed a bit since you were growing up in the 40s, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely. And maybe more so for me than for others because Jackson is in the South, which was pretty socially conservative when I was a young girl.
Please tell us about some of the changes you have personally experienced.
My heavens. Well, the New South is so different from the Old South in a lot of good ways, as everyone knows. But since you ask me personally, it would probably be dating customs, the way young people talk to their elders, table manners.
Okay. How have those things changed?
Well, for example, when I was growing up, the family dinner hour was the one time in the day when the family sat down together, and it was a special time. Today, that's changed. In many families, there is no dinner hour. Kids eat snacks or fast food all day. Moms are out in the workforce and don't have time to make a proper meal. And there are so many activities that it seems like no one has time. In my day, children were more respectful and quiet at the table. We spoke when we were spoken to. We didn't put our elbows on the table, and we dressed nicely. No one came to the dinner table in shorts or jeans the way they do today.
That is different, isn't it? You mentioned dating. How has that changed?
Well, today, I see boys and girls on dates at the mall. They can't be more than 12 or 13 years old. I wasn't allowed to go out on a proper date until I was 16. And when I finally was allowed to date, my parents didn't let me go out with a boy they hadn't already met. Oh, and I had a definite curfew. I had to be home by 11. If I came in late, I was grounded for at least a month. It was a little different for my brother, though. I guess there was a bit of a double standard. He could go out on dates when he was 16, but his curfew wasn't as strict as mine. He was allowed to stay out until midnight.
And you mentioned the way young people addressed their elders. How has that changed?
Well, today you hear teens, even children, calling adults by their first names. We had to address adults as sir or ma'am, and we always use Mr. and Mrs. I suppose that sounds a little old-fashioned today, doesn't it?
Maybe so. Thanks so much, Miss Hartley, for an interesting interview.
Formal dinner etiquette. It is very discourteous for a guest to be late. Arrive at least 5 minutes before the hour set for the dinner. If for some unavoidable reason you cannot arrive on time, telephone the hostess and explain the reason to her. Etiquette only requires that she wait for 15 minutes before beginning the meal. If it has been impossible for you to notify her and she has started the meal, go to her, offer apologies, and take your place at the table as quickly as possible. Seating. The hostess leads the female guests into the dining room. The host and the male guests follow. The hostess then tells her guests where to sit. She must always have the seating arrangement planned in advance in order to avoid confusion and delay. Each person stands casually behind his chair until the hostess starts to take her seat. The man helps his dinner partner to be seated and also helps move her chair as she rises. Each person moves to the left of the chair to be seated and also rises from the left. The meal. At a small dinner party, do not start to eat until all guests are served. At a large dinner party, you may start to eat as soon as those near you have been served. Do not eat too fast. Do not talk while you have food in your mouth, and keep the mouth closed while you chew your food. Elbows should not be put on the table when you are eating. However, between courses at a restaurant, if you cannot hear your companion, it is permissible to lean forward on your elbows. If silver is dropped on the floor, leave it there. If an accident happens at the table, apologize briefly to your hostess. The hostess continues to eat as long as her guests do. When all have finished, she rises from the table and the others follow. Departing. If you have no dinner partner, push your chair from the table by taking hold of each side of the seat of the chair. Don't rest your hands or arms on the table to push yourself up. It is not necessary to remain longer than 30 minutes after a dinner if the invitation does not include the entire evening. However, one should avoid appearing in a hurry to leave.
Page 12. Exercise A. Listen to the conversations between people introducing themselves. Check the statement that correctly paraphrases the main idea. Conversation 1.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Ana Montoya.
Good morning, Dr. Montoya.
Please call me Ana.
Conversation 2.
Hi, I'm Larry Lockhart.
Hi, I'm Winnie Denman. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. By the way, how would you prefer to be addressed?
Mrs. Denman would be fine.
Conversation 3.
Excuse me, I'm Sofia Perez. I'm looking for Martin Page.
Certainly, Ms. Perez. I'm Ramona Wright. Martin's right over there. Come, I'll introduce you.
Thanks. And would it be rude if I called him Martin?
No, that's fine. And while you're at it, feel free to call me Ramona.
And please call me Sofia.
Conversation 4.
Hi, I'm Robert Morse, the new English instructor.
Oh, hello, Dr. Morse. I'm Laura Lane, the department secretary. I'll take you to your class. By the way, how would you like to be introduced to the class?
Well, what's the custom here?
We're pretty informal. The policy is generally first name. We think it makes for a more conversational English class. Do you mind?
Not at all. Robert's fine with me.
Conversation 5.
Hello, I'm Mayumi Sato. I'm pre-registered for the conference.
Certainly. Let me make up your name badge. Do you prefer Ms. or Mrs.?
Actually, neither. I use doctor.
Of course, Dr. Sato. Here you go.
Thanks.
Top-notch pop song. It's a great day for love.
Wherever you go, there are things you should know. So be aware of the customs and views, all the do's and taboos of people there. stranger in a sea of new faces. Now we're making small talk on a first name basis. It's a great day for love, isn't it? Aren't you the one I was hoping to find? It's a great day for love, isn't it? By the time you said hello, I had already made up my mind. Wherever you stay, be sure to obey the golden rules. And before you relax, brush up on the facts you learned at school. Try to be polite and always be sure to get some friendly advice on proper etiquette. It's a great day for love, isn't it?